Fracture is a really good movie. Now, as a thriller, it's not up there with the likes of Seven or Parasite or Old Boy, but it's not trying to. This movie just has a really authentic message, which is that even if it hurts you in the moment, you should do the right thing. And this theme is embodied in the story by all of these characters. Each of them embody a different side of the theme, starting with Ted. Ted, who is played by Anthony Hopkins, who at this point was pretty much looked at as the go to guy to play a serial killer in a movie, and for good reason. He's really good and really scary, and he pretty much embodies all of the bad sides of the theme. First of all, he holds a grudge, and second of all, he decides to kill his wife, completely abandoning his moral compass, assuming that he had any in the first place. Now, Roberto, on the other hand, who is Beecham's boss, Beecham is the protagonist of the story. Roberto embodies the positive sides of the theme. From this scene where he tells Beecham that he is going to fire him after Beecham messes up on a case and makes the company look bad. To this scene where he offers Beecham a job even after Beecham loses the case and gets a bad reputation. While Nikki, who is Beecham's love interest in the story, also embodies the negative sides of the theme. Because, yes, she does genuinely care for him and she does fight to keep him at Wooten Sims, as shown in this scene. But when it does come down to it, she does choose her own job and her own security over doing the right thing, as shown in this scene. Now, I would have called their relationship interesting because, yes, she does genuinely care for him, as shown in this scene where she calls him immediately after he loses the case to see if he's okay. And her obsession with her reputation and looking good is the one thing that completely ruins her relationship with him. But the relationship is just something that happens because he's charming and he looks like Ryan-Gosling from 2007. So let's make love, I guess. Yeah, it really feels forced. And then you have these two characters. I know one of their names, Rob, the hostage negotiator, and the other one is the wife of Ted. Now, one of the things I love about this movie is that it genuinely embraces all of the grey, messy parts. Because it would be so easy for them to just say that Ted is just a sick bastard, and he is, but this woman is not without her own faults. Because, I mean, if you look at things objectively, she married an older fellow who happens to be very rich and just ends up going behind his back to be with another guy. That description pretty much tells you everything that she did wrong. And they do show her still trying to make the relationship with Ted work, and they actually show her even caring for Ted a little bit. They give you just enough to make you feel sorry for her, but she is responsible for setting all the horrific things in motion just as much as Ted is. And she is not the only dubious one here because Rob apparently already had a marriage and two kids with his wife when he was with this woman. So, pretty much nobody except for Roberto, he's a saint. Pretty much nobody in this movie is all that good. Now, we need to talk about Beecham finally. So, Beecham at the start of the story is a self absorbed guy who doesn't care about anything but himself, and he gets somebody fired in order to secure his dream job. Now, eventually, he does go to the positive side of the theme where he does care about somebody else and actually wants to do the right thing. Now, the thing I find interesting about him is how the writers manage to make this guy likable, because the movie starts with Ted's point of view and he kills his wife, and then we have the whole he lost the love of his life thing going on with Rob, and we are fixed in Rob's point of view, and we feel sorry for him and we're emotionally invested. And Beecham doesn't care about this case at all. So we should hate him, but we don't. Because, well, first of all, the writers make sure to give us his point of view. He sees this case as an open and dumb thing because Ted has a written confession. And add to the fact that he has a new job that he is preparing for, he doesn't really care about this case. And that costs him the case, makes him lose his dream job, and he ends up getting a lot of slack thrown at him, which makes him bearable to watch. But what makes him really likable is the fact that he shares our anger and hatred towards Ted and is disgusted by how much Ted seems to enjoy the fact that he killed his wife. Add to the fact that he does become a better person at the end of the movie and you get a really likable character. Now let's talk about Ted's plan, because yes, it is easy to poke holes at it, but when you're in the moment looking at how he manipulates the system to just rule out his signed confession, and we are in Beecham's point of view trying to solve this case, and he seems to always be one step ahead of us. So suddenly the fact that his plan hinges on exchanging pistols with Rob after Rob paid no attention to the guy who literally confessed to murdering his wife. Suddenly that feels a little bit less dumb, even though objectively it's really dumb. Rob, you're an idiot. You're a very big idiot. So anyway, yeah, it was very dumb, but Anthony Hopkins' incredible performance pretty much distracts you from that, at least a little bit. Oh, by the way, the reason that Beecham figured out that he exchanged pistols with Rob was because him and some DA guy apparently had the same phone and they accidentally exchanged it. It sounds pretty dumb when you're saying it out loud, but when you actually watch the movie, it's really clever. Now, I do want to end this on some trademark things from the director. Number one is this reflection shot here. And the other one is the mix fade between two different scenes and two different settings. That could be the editor, but I reckon the director probably had something to do with it. And yeah, that is pretty much my review of this movie. I definitely recommend it and hope you have a great day. Goodbye.